Welcome in to another Wackadoodle Wednesday, also known as Donald Trump Day, here at Occupy Democrats. And in this breaking story, Jake Tapper from CNN might want to go ahead and start on that sequel in terms of mental decline and mental acuity when it comes to one Donald J. Trump, 47th President of the United States. I'm going to show that story to you in just a second because, woo! There are little things. It's not the big things. It's the little things that make us start to wonder what in the world is going on. And unfortunately, as we sadly all know, it's not going to get any better. Remember this report when it first came out, that after Jake's book, Donald Trump decided to just do this because he even wants more people to get away with things that he's in charge of. Check this out.
President Trump now ordering an investigation into whether aides to former President Biden covered up Biden's mental state. He claims they deceived the public. This morning, President Trump ordering the Justice Department to investigate the final years of Joe Biden's presidency. Trump issuing a memo claiming, without evidence, that aides abused the power of presidential signatures through the use of an auto pen, adding that would constitute an unconstitutional wielding of the power of the presidency, a circumstance that would have implications for the legality and validity of numerous executive actions. Trump's order calls into question the legitimacy of Biden's presidential pardons, judicial appointments, and more than 1,000 other documents signed in Biden's final 2 years in office. It comes amid a firestorm surrounding the former president's health and mental fitness.
And maybe even worse than Watergate in some ways.
Right.
The new book, Original Sin, claims Biden's inner circle saw that the president was declining and found ways to cover it up, claiming Biden's health had become so severe that there were internal discussions about putting the president in a wheelchair after the election.
So that's basically the President of the United States trying to utilize Tapper's book as a way to denounce, dismiss, remove, denigrate, whatever it may be, typical playbook of Donald Trump, anything that Biden may or may not have done, but of course mostly because he wants to be able to prosecute Hunter Biden even further now that he's president. However, that said, what just occurred in Florida while Trump is down looking at Alligator Alcatraz, this is staggering when he gets to ask an incredibly simple question and yet cannot even bother to answer it properly, as Lawrence O'Donnell perfectly denotes in this breaking story. Take a look at this.
Mr. President, is there an expected time frame that detainees will spend here, days, weeks, months? And does that have anything to do with the immigration judges you just spoke about being trained and staffed here?
When you say, what was the first part of your question?
Is there a specific time frame you expect the detainees to spend here, days, weeks, months?
In Florida?
Yes, here at Alligator Alcatraz.
I'm going to spend a lot. Look, this is my home state. I love it. I love your government. I love all the people around. These are all friends of mine. They know them very well. I mean, I'm not surprised that they do so well. They're great people. Ron has been a friend of mine for a long time. I feel very comfortable in the state. I'll spend a lot of time here.
Donald Trump thought the question was, how much time are you going to spend in Florida? That's what a lot of 79-year-old guys get when they move to Florida. How much time are you going to spend in Florida? But the question was, is there an expected time frame that detainees will spend here? Days, weeks, months? The answer, the rest of the answer, gets even worse. I stopped it there to spare you hearing the actual sound of the banality of Donald Trump's creeping dementia and his cruelty. I'm going to read to you what he actually said. Here is what he continued to say in the wrong answer to that question. How long will the detainees be here? He said, I'll spend a lot of time here. I want to, for 4 years, I've got to be in Washington. I'm okay with it because I love the White House. I even fixed up the little Oval Office. I made it. It's like a diamond. It's beautiful. It's so beautiful. It wasn't maintained properly, I will tell you that. But even when it wasn't, it was still the Oval Office. So it meant a lot. But I'll spend as much time as I can here. My vacation is generally here because it's convenient. I live in Palm Beach. It's my home, and I have a very nice little place, nice little cottage to stay at, right? But we have a lot of fun, and I'm a big contributor to Florida. You know, pay a lot of tax. Let me just pause here for a second to note that the state of Florida has zero state income tax, unlike the state of New York, which he left. So no, he doesn't pay a lot of tax in Florida. Donald Trump kept talking. I'm a big contributor to Florida. You know, I pay a lot of tax. And a lot of people moved from New York. And I don't know what New York is going to do. A lot of people moved to Florida from New York, and it was for a lot of reasons. But one of them was taxes. The taxes are so high in New York. They're leaving. I don't know what New York is going to do about that, because some of the biggest, wealthiest people and some of the people that pay the most taxes of any people anywhere in the world, for that matter, they're moving to Florida and other places. So we're going to have to help some of these states out, I think. But thank you very much. I'll be here as much as I can. Very nice question. He's not there. There's a character named Donald Trump with a red hat and orange makeup who shows up at these events and words come out of his mouth, but he's not there. His mind, as exhibited from that response to that very simple question, does not work. And that is a crisis for the United States of America.
And the best part of all of this is Trump himself asked the reporter to repeat the question. And the question was repeated, nice and slow. And the man still did not actually manage to answer the question. Just rambles off into how much he loves Florida and all of his friends and people and stay a long time. Folks, this is literally the person who has his hands on the nuclear codes. And I don't mean that literally. We never do. We mean it that he's the person who can give the order. I am quite certain that Donald Trump got Tom Homan in the position of being in charge of ICE for a reason. Wouldn't have to think about it. Put Stephen Miller in the position that he put him in. Won't have to think about it. Chose Kristi Noem because he just wants to do photo ops with her and her big lips and her expensive watches. Donald Trump isn't running anything other than this country into the ground, noted by the recent job reports. But this is a guy who clearly isn't connecting synapses the way he used to. And Lord knows what might happen in the very, very near future. You guys have a wonderful Independence Day weekend. Remember, there are no Kings protests all over this country. Go to one if you can, and stay frosty.